Hi, I'm Bill Rudin, the Chairman of the Real Estate Board of New York. Today we will be highlighting the retail marketplace and its impact on our city and our industry. While the retail market is facing many challenges, we have seen innovative ideas and changing dynamics in certain parts of the city, while many companies that started as online retailers are now opening physical stores throughout the city. In 2018, New York City reported 350,000 retail jobs. That's a 25% increase over the last 20 years, signaling again the strength of New York City as a retail hub.
Retail is not declining in the city, it's moving and spreading out to places where it didn't exist. Now with Long Island City and Brooklyn and other parts of the city that are experiencing great growth, retail is responding by moving from some of the more traditional markets out to newer markets.
We have Soho, we have Meatpacking, we have Union Square and Flatiron. All of those areas have boomed. There's tremendous foot traffic with a broad international tourist-driven customer base.
In downtown Manhattan, we've seen a huge growth in the number of shops and restaurants and bars over the last 5 years. Due to the reopening of the World Trade Center site and the Oculus, new retail at Brookfield Place and at the Seaport, more people living in the neighborhood and more people working in the neighborhood means more people shopping in the neighborhood.
There is an explosion of retail in the Williamsburg section. Now it's a vibrant community that's got great foot traffic and great restaurants and boutique stores, and that just didn't exist 10 years ago. And I think a great affirmation of that dynamic is Amazon's decision to put their headquarters in Long Island City in a great borough of Queens.
My name is James Wacht. I co-own This My Gym in Park Slope with my son Evan. It's a wonderful time to be renting space as a retailer because landlords now have cut the rent. Landlords are willing to take uses that 3 or 4 years ago they never would have considered. If we were looking for space 5 years ago, we'd probably be paying 30 to 40% more rent.
It is a buyer's market, and we've seen that since 2015. Owners and landlords have become more creative in offering opportunities to retail establishment. Pop-ups are now something that did not exist.
The retailers are in a very good position because number one, we have a lot of opportunity with regard to a lot of space being on the market. There's been a tremendous amount of growth in terms of new retail space on the market based on new construction.
20 years ago, policymakers required that retail space be a part of any new developments. As a result, retail square footage has grown 20% in Manhattan alone since 2004. In some boroughs, it probably exceeds that growth rate.
A few years ago, the market was at an all-time high. Rents were overly aggressive. What we've seen in the last 3 years, if you look at the report done by the Real Estate Board of New York, it shows that rents have decreased in general on all the major retail corridors, about 25%.
We just signed our second lease for a My Gym in Cobble Hill. The landlord was able to cut his rent and we made a deal. So we're excited about that.
At the same time that retail rents became overly aggressive, retail itself began to change dramatically with the onset of e-commerce competing with brick and mortar retail. 20 years ago, roughly 1% of sales were e-commerce sales. Currently, 9.8% of all retail sales are e-commerce sales, but by no means is brick and mortar retail sales dead. Online e-commerce retailers understand that brick and mortar stores help them build sales.
The consumer today is looking for something different, and they're really looking for an experience. And the shops we see succeed, they have dance concerts and art installations and interesting things happening in those spaces that make it more than just a place to go and buy something.
Millennials want the experience. They want to go on trips, they want to travel, they're into fitness. So what you're seeing right now is a lot of new fitness retailers opening up. They want to go to restaurants.
Apple was one of the first retailers that created an experience. What Apple created has now become the norm and is expected from every retailer.
For bricks and mortar businesses, they have to think about how to compete with the internet and embrace the internet, and using social media as a way to promote what they offer, whether it's putting inventory online or pictures of their delicious burgers to try and help drive traffic. What hasn't changed over the last 20 years is that 20% of small businesses fail within a year. And within 5 years, that number is as high as 50%.
Operating a business in New York City is challenging. Building a store in New York City is time-consuming and costly.
The regulatory challenges that face these small business owners, dealing with city agencies, dealing with rising taxes, dealing with the red tape that is really hard if you are trying to run a business to figure out.
In 2018, New York City stores paid over 250% more in property taxes compared to 2000. Despite these changes, New York remains the home of a diverse mix of thriving restaurants, shops, and boutiques. The retail landscape will continue to change as the market forces and consumer behaviors push retailers to create new experiences for their customers. Until then, Revenue will continue to work on and speak out on the issues that impact the retail market. Thank you.